You served in the mm, 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 Marines for a few years. When was this, and what was your favorite? What did you like about it?
Well, let me see, that was back from 1958 to 1962. I actually joined the Marine Corps. I joined the Marine Reserves in 1957.
But you didn't actually get recruited.
Well, as a per se, no. I already knew I wanted to be in the Marine Corps, and so I went into the reserves because they paid you for being in the reserves. See, so there was over at Bachman's Lake, there was a unit called the First 4.5 Rocket Battalion, and I joined that when I was 17. Which is minimum age for being a Marine. So, and then I served 11 months, and while I was serving in 11 months, I graduated from high school and I started to Arlington State College. And I figured out by the end of the first semester that, I really wanted to do something else. So I went ahead and joined the Marine Corps, full-time active. And I made a high enough score on the test to get guaranteed aviation. And so went through boot camp. I went to, we went to ITR, and then we went, I was sent to P School, which is a preparatory school in Jacksonville, Florida. And I was there for about 3 months, which was great. Jax, Florida is great. It's a good place to be. And then I was sent from that school to Millington, Tennessee, which is just outside of Memphis, which is not far from here.
And what year was that?
That was 1958. And then I got out of and that was called A school, and that was helicopter school. And so I had from the first when I first got into boot camp until I got to my first duty station, which was, I got out of school and into my first duty station, was almost a full year of going to school. And so, and then I went into, when I went into Millington, one of the things I really liked about school over here was they had a drill team, and a Marine Corps drill team and a drum and bugle corps. And I actually made the drill team.
What's the drill team again?
The drill team was, we drilled with rifles.
Oh.
And we did all the formations and all that good stuff, while the drum and bugle corps played, and they marched too while we were out there. So it was a dual situation, and I really enjoyed that, because I had been, when I was in high school, I was in ROTC, and I was in drill teams for 3 years in high school. So it was old hat to me. It was really good. And then I was stationed out in Santa Ana, California, which is right next to Newport Beach. Is really great duty. And when I got there, my brother had gone active in the Marine Corps. He had already gone through boot camp at one time, and he was in Squadron 163. HMR 163. Well, they put me in HMR 361, which was right across the hangar from them. And so I went to 361, and then about 3 months later, they put me over into 163 in the same squadron my brother Jim was in. And then they sent that squadron overseas to Okinawa. And the reason for these squadrons being different numbers, 361 and 163, on the West Coast, the 3rd Marine Air Wing was on the West Coast. And over in the Pacific, the 1st Marine Air Wing was in the Pacific. So they named that squadron 163 because they were going to send it to the Pacific. So, and that I got put in that squadron, and Jim and I.
And went to the Pacific.
Yeah, we went to the Pacific. Went to the island of Okinawa, little town of Fatima, and that's what they named the base, Fatima, U.S. Marine Corps Air Facility, Fatima, Okinawa, and then we were there for approximately 4 months. And they put our squadron aboard the USS Bennington. And we were on the Bennington. We went, it was anti-submarine warfare carrier. And we didn't have any jets at all on our aircraft carrier. All we had were we had some twin engine, what they call S2Fs, we call them Stoofs, and they were a sub hunter. And we had some AD-5 Sky Raiders that were sub hunters, and then they had a squadron of naval HSS, which is a helicopter submarine hunter, and they had sonar on it, and then they put our squadron with them. On that carrier, and then along with the carrier in our task group was an AKA, which we had the floating battalion on it, and nowadays they call it the MEU, which is a Marine Expeditionary Unit. But at that time we were task group 70.5. But and then. We went in and out of some ports. We were in Manila, we were in Subic Bay, and those are 2 places in the Philippines. And then we went to Hong Kong 2 or 3 times, and then we went over by Borneo at one time. Although we never got off the ship there, and then in January of 1961, the CIA was flown aboard the carrier, and we were in the South China Sea, and the U.S. was they were trying to help the Laotian troops fight what they call the dreaded Pathet Lao. And all the crew chiefs and all the pilots were interviewed by the CIA, and they discharged 17 pilots and 10 crew chiefs from the Marine Corps aboard ship. And I was a standby crew chief to go, but didn't get to go. But although I did get to fly into Udon, Thailand, and stay there 3 months. I was there January, February. I guess I came out of right around the 1st of March, or about the 10th of March, or something like that. And anyway, back to Okinawa, where they had another squadron from Hawaii that had flown in, and I stayed with them for about 2 or 3 months, and I never was part of that squadron. And then a lot of us got sent back to the U.S. on a troop ship. Actually, it was a dependent ship. I can't remember what the name of it is. And then after I got back to back to Santa Ana again, we started a new squadron HMR 364, and a guy named Pete Jensen got the first. We got brand new planes in. Pete Jensen got the first plane, and I got the second plane, which was a very big deal to me. It was, that was a neat thing to form a brand new squadron and take it from the ground up where you have nothing to work on. You just they gave us a barracks to be in, and we had to redo the whole barracks, repaint it, everything, the lockers and everything. So, and Pete Jensen and I were in charge of that until we got some planes. And it was a great thing. Probably my most enjoyable duty of all the Marine Corps was search and rescue.
Was that after with
That was while we were in Okinawa.
Pete Jensen?
Yeah, we were in Okinawa, and I got a month of search and rescue duty. My helicopter was the oldest helicopter in the squadron, and so rather than using it all day, every day training, it was getting pretty high on hours, and with aircraft, it's how many hours they fly is what your inspections are based on. See, you have to inspect your aircraft and all this good stuff. So mine was getting pretty high in hours, and it needed to go back to O&R, which is overhaul and repair in Japan. So we just used it for search and rescue, and so and we got a couple of things we had to search for, but we only had one main rescue while I was on that, and that was a guy that fell down the hill and broke his back, and they lowered myself and a corpsman down on a hoist, and we had one of those baskets that you lay a man down in, and we strapped him to it, and they took him up the trail to the top of the hill, and the helicopter was stopped on the top of the hill up there, and we got in the helicopter and took him to the hospital. And he turned out to be okay, but he had broken his back, but later he turned out to be okay. But that's what I remember about the Marine Corps. It was a lot of fun. So.